It was a cool spring morning in the year 1607. A tall-masted ship prepared to sail from London to a faraway place in the New World called Virginia. A handsome adventurer who had made many journeys to distant lands jumped on a cannon as it was hoisted aboard ship. "That's John Smith," said one of the settlers. "If you're going to fight Indians, you can't do it without John Smith." Across the sea in Virginia, a spirited young Indian woman named Pocahontas had no idea that an English ship crossing the ocean would soon change her life forever. She only knew that her friend Nicoma was calling to her and her constant companions, Meeko the raccoon and Flit the hummingbird, from below the waterfall. "Pocahontas, come to the village," cried Nicoma. "Your father has returned." Pocahontas met her father, Chief Powhatan, in their longhouse. Powhatan told her that Kokum, the bravest of his young warriors, had asked for her hand in marriage. Then the chief gave his daughter her mother's wedding necklace. "Kokum will be a fine husband," said Powhatan. Pocahontas did not want to marry Kokum. He never laughed or smiled. Unsure of what her path in life should be, Pocahontas went to the enchanted glade to visit her beloved grandmother Willow, the wise tree spirit. "Remember the dream you had about a spinning arrow," said Grandmother Willow. "It points to your path. If you listen with your heart, you will understand." Soon afterward the English ship reached the shores of Virginia and sailed inland up a wide river. "Governor Ratcliffe, this is the place to anchor," said John Smith to the expedition's gold-hungry leader. Pocahontas, Meeko, and Flit watched from the forest as the strange pale men hauled the ship toward shore. Pocahontas couldn't believe her eyes. Sensing danger, Flit buzzed nervously. Later that day Powhatan called a meeting of the council. The chief asked Kokum to take a band of braves and observe the pale invaders. Governor Ratcliffe quickly claimed the land and its riches for England. As some of the settlers began to clear the forest, Kokum and the braves kept watch. Other settlers dug for gold. The greedy governor was sure the New World would make him rich. Meanwhile John Smith was sent into the forest to look for Indians. The first one he met was a beautiful young woman. She started to flee, but he urged her to stay. Pocahontas liked the handsome stranger, but she was not sure what he was saying. Then she remembered what Grandmother Willow had said. If she listened with her heart, she would understand. By now the settlers had spotted the Indians in the forest. "It's an ambush," screamed Ratcliffe. "Arm yourselves." Shots rang out and an Indian was wounded. Before the day ended, Powhatan sent for warriors from other villages. John Smith wasn't with the settlers when the fighting broke out. He was with Pocahontas. As they talked, Meeko suddenly ran off with John's compass. "What is that?" asked Pocahontas. "That's a compass," said Smith. "It helps you find your way when you are lost." "I'll get another one in London." Then John told Pocahontas about London's paved streets and grand buildings. "There is much we can teach you," he said. "We can help improve your life." Suddenly Pocahontas realized how little John knew about her world. She told him that every rock and tree and creature had a life, a spirit. John began to understand. Meanwhile Governor Ratcliffe had decided that the Indians had dug up all the gold. It was time to take it away from them. Ratcliffe knew he would need Smith's help and went to look for him, but John was nowhere to be found. John Smith was back in the forest, explaining to Pocahontas why the English had sailed to the New World. "We came to search for gold," he said, showing Pocahontas a coin. "Gold?" said Pocahontas. "We have nothing like that here." Back at the settlement, Smith found out that the governor was planning to go to war for the gold. "But there is no gold," Smith protested. "The Indians don't even know what gold is." Governor Ratcliffe refused to believe Smith. There had to be gold and Ratcliffe would fight for it. That night Pocahontas and John met in the forest glade again. They didn't know that they both had been followed. When the two kissed, Kokum leaped out from behind a tree and attacked Smith. Thomas, the settler who had followed Smith, took aim at Kokum. The gun thundered as Pocahontas tried to stop Kokum and the warrior fell. "Thomas, get out of here!" Smith shouted, hearing war cries in the forest. Thomas ran for his life. Indians' warriors swarmed into the glade, gathering up the body of Kokum and mistakenly accused John Smith. Later Powhatan said Smith would die at dawn. Broken-hearted, Pocahontas fled to Grandmother Willow. Suddenly Meeko appeared with Smith's compass. Pocahontas stared at the needle and realized it was the spinning arrow of her dream. She knew what she must do. As the sun rose, Pocahontas rushed to the place where the warriors had taken John Smith. The armed settlers were hurrying there, too, ready for war. Pocahontas reached John Smith just in time. Confessing her love for John, she asked her father to spare him. Then Pocahontas urged her father to see where the path of hatred had led them. Moved by his daughter's words, Powhatan released the prisoner and made a vow to keep peace. But angry Governor Ratcliffe did not want peace. He wanted gold. Then the enraged man fired at Powhatan. John Smith tried to protect the chief and was hit by the bullet instead. In the end, there was no war. Ratcliffe was sent back to England in chains. The wounded Smith had to go, too. But Pocahontas stayed behind to continue as peacemaker. As they parted, Pocahontas told John Smith, "No matter what happens, I will always be with you. Forever." And in her heart, she always was.